What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Montana State Bobcat Dynasty on NCAA Football 06. And today we've got ourselves the offseason, jumping into Season 8 now, looking to build off of the best, most exciting season in this series so far, I would say, especially early on in the first half of this season. I mean, just look at this here. SMU, we beat them 28-24. Then we lost to BYU in overtime. We almost beat Tennessee. We beat the brakes off Ohio. We had some really good conference games, a couple blowouts. Idaho State, that was a good game. Idaho. Eastern Washington might be the game of the year, even though BYU was incredibly fun, maybe just because this one was a win. You know, the 21 points we scored in the fourth quarter. I mean, I'm just kind of reminiscing about this fantastic season we had. It didn't end the way we wanted it to here. Maryland beat the brakes off us, kind of exposed us in this game, but I'm hoping we can just build off of this season and get even better in jumping into the next year. Something you may have noticed in my recent videos is I sound a little bit different. That's because I got a new mic. Let me know what you think about that. I think it sounds better personally, but maybe you like, man, this sounds like trash. So yeah, I don't want to be like making crappy videos and stuff, but I think the mic sounds pretty good. I think it is an upgrade, and hopefully it won't be picking up my like PS2 or my computer in the background as much. It's a dynamic mic, so works a little bit differently than my other one. But yeah, that's why I sound a little bit different in my recent videos. Also, one thing I want to do if I have the opportunity today is maybe change conferences, because we, especially this last season, we were kind of dominant in the Big Sky Conference, and it's kind of just nice to see some new teams more often than not, because we have the out-of-conference games the first 4 games of the season, but then the rest is the schedule, and it's in the same order too, and it just switches home and away every other season and whatnot. So if I have the opportunity to switch conferences, I think I will probably take that. All right, here's what I'm going to be doing for the school budget this season. 35% into recruiting, 35% into training. We got some really nice young players on the roster that would be really nice to develop. And then 30% into discipline. We haven't had to do as much discipline in recent years, so that's pretty good. Hopefully we won't have to use too many of those points. Oh my goodness, no. We got a couple players going to the draft, which, I mean, I'm excited for them, but you know, they're juniors right now. Marquez Randolph and Brandon Adriano. Personally, I feel like Brandon Adriano should probably stay for another year. I think he could very well up his draft stock, because I feel like he'd be a late draft pick. But Marquez Randolph is basically the leader of this defense, and all year long, I'm like, man, this guy is so good. I hope he doesn't declare. I could see him very well being like a mid-round pick, maybe in the 4th round or something, and then just like, boom, all of a sudden, he's just like one of the best players in the league. Man, I'm not going to talk him into staying. I did that with Troy Anderson, and then he ended up not even going to the draft the next year. So I'm going to let them go. But man, that stinks. Good thing we have a lot of depth at linebacker. But thank you, Marquez Randolph. You were one of the best players we've had in this series so far. Brandon Adriano, great running back, and now I've got to look for another one. Some other guys leaving. We have a defensive tackle, Hills. All these other guys will be graduating. Lester, he caught a couple passes for us. 4 total passes. He had 5 drops, so that's not really the best look for him. Gerard Doolin, he really stepped up this past year. For whatever reason, it's not showing his 2008 stats. I don't know why it does that, but he did a great job, especially this past year with Jake Munoz graduating. He took his place in the slot there. Thompson's going to be leaving. He's an 80 overall tackle, but doesn't necessarily play like it. Jed Torrey, he struggled early on, but this past season, especially his last year, was probably his best. Kevin Green, right guard, graduating. Jason Freeman, he only had 1 year here, I believe. He played some pretty solid ball for us, though. Brian Brown is going to be graduating, so we definitely need a running back. And then Michael Ryan, I'm upset that I didn't really use him very well. You saw he's a 91 overall somehow. And I remember, you know, in-season recruiting, we got him. I'm excited. Yay, we got a nice tight end. And he caught 6 total touchdowns. He got 45 total passes for 740 or 34 yards and 6 touchdowns. Like, that should be a stat line for a 91 overall tight end. I feel like that should be a stat line in a season, maybe season and a half. And we just didn't really use him correctly, and I'm kind of sad about that. And I knew that after like the first 2 years, like we got to get him more involved, and I just really never did. So tight end probably won't be a big thing I'm going to be looking into acquiring this offseason, just because we don't really use them that much. But we are going to be losing Michael Ryan, highest rated player I think we've had in the series somehow. All right, we just wrapped up recruiting, and we're going to look at we're going to take a quick recap looking at it, starting with Justin Moore at tackle. Of course, this is one of the guys we got in the in-season recruiting. Same goes for Brett Garrett. One of the guys we did get to commit, though, is this running back, Vince Robinson, who will be taking over for Brandon Adriano. He looks like he's going to be a pretty solid player for us. We got some help on the offensive line in this guard, Dave Pope. We also got another nice guard, Adam Weaver. So our offensive line is actually looking pretty solid. If you remember, we got 2 tackles to commit in the in-season recruiting. We got 2 guards, and we already had a pretty solid center. So hopefully Larry Stevens will actually have some time back there to throw the football. Shannon McBride, the other guy we got in season recruiting. We got this other running back. He's a pretty speedy guy, 4.24, since we lost 2 running backs just recently. We got a free safety in Adam Frazier, a strong safety in Anthony Ross. Decided to get a tight end. We got Sean Key there, just a little 1-star guy. And this seems to happen to me every year. Just these guys who just like, man, they don't know what they want to do. Do they want to go to Montana State? I don't know, but they never end up showing up. Maybe they just don't want to play college ball. I don't know what their issue is. I really wanted this outside linebacker to help beef up our linebacking core since we lost Randolph, but apparently he doesn't want to play. Looking at some of the other guys, we had this 4-star punter interested in us. We were actually on top of his list at one point, but he ends up going to Arizona. This cornerback I really wanted, in-state prospect, but he was really just never that interested in us. So yeah, we could always use some help in the secondary. This athlete, we started going after him, but he doesn't seem to be a whole lot, so he ends up going to the Grizzlies. The center we looked at a little bit, but then kind of lost interest in. He goes to Idaho State. Jim Daniels, a wide receiver, he's going to Colorado. This fullback was interested in us, so I was like, I guess we'll try to recruit him, even though we don't really use a fullback in our offense. So he doesn't come here. That's not the worst. Grizzlies get another guy we were looking at. I was really going after this guy to be our backup quarterback because our backup just isn't great. Luckily, he hasn't really had to play. But if Stevens goes down, we're kind of screwed. So I was, trying to go after this guy here, but he wanted nothing to do with us. Not very many quarterbacks really actually want to come to Montana State. Here was another free safety. He goes to Stanford, and yeah, that'll do it for everyone I was targeting. All right, looking at some training results now. We have a breakthrough player in Travis Kraft, who I'm going to be honest, not entirely sure who he is. That's partly because he's a 68 overall, just a depth player there. Another depth player here, most improved, he went up 6 overall. This is nice to see. Paul Ridgeway actually goes up 5 points. He might be our starting tight end next season. Kirkpatrick goes up 4 points. He's up to a 90 overall. Our fullback is up to an 80. Mario Harris, he's an 80 overall now. Max Lloyd is up to an 80, so he might be starting next season. Chris White up to a 78. The other fullback is going up some. Guy Gore up to a 74. Blake Allen's a 72. We have a defensive tackle there. Thomas Spicer goes up 3 points. He'll probably be starting for us for one last season. Davidson up to a 68. Isaac Witcher goes up 3. Magnet goes up 3. Jones up to a 65. Let's see. Oh, here we go. We got James Green going up 2 points. Larry Stevens, he's up to an 86. I hope his accuracy went up. Throw power. There you go. His accuracy's up to an 84. He dealt with a lot of inaccuracy last season. That's probably where he needs to grow the most. Washington up to an 84. Brock Eugene's an 80, and Tim Hughes is a 78. Nick Brown a 76. Larry Lane and Curtis Brown each at a 76. Jason McMillan goes up 2 points. Martin Anderson, and that will do it. All right, taking a look at our depth chart going into the 2012 season. Of course, at quarterback, we've got Larry Stevens. At running back, Vince Robinson will be starting. I do not think I'm going to be redshirting him. We got Magnet as the backup, and then the other freshman running back, Brad Boyd. So that's third string. Will Johnson's going to be the fullback. Larry Lane, Curtis Brown, and Martin Anderson will be your starting wide receivers. Ben Collins, the freshman redshirt tight end, will be starting over Ridgeway. He's got better speed. I think his awareness is a little bit worse, but his catching is way better as well. Shannon McBride will be starting at left tackle. Left guard, you got Guy Gore. At center, Dante Washington. You got the freshman Dave Pope at right guard. And then at right tackle, Justin Moore. So a lot of really young guys on the offensive line. Let's see how they hold up. On the defensive side of the ball, you got Pat Hadley at left end. On the other side of him, you got Mario Harris. Nick Brown will be your starting defensive tackle. I think we're going to run a lot of 3-4 like we did last year, but the other defensive tackles are Matt Greer. William Jackson's there for some reason, but as you see near the bottom of your screen, McDaniel will be the third string. I'll actually just put him in right now. At left outside linebacker, we got Max Lloyd starting for the first time. Marcus Kirkpatrick and William Jackson will be your middle linebackers. Kirkpatrick up to a 90 overall, like you saw earlier. And then James Green will be on the right side there. Brock Eugene will be our number one corner. Chris Bonner and Tim Hughes are both pretty solid at a 78 overall each. Brett Garrett, I think I might redshirt him just because he's pretty young. And Tim Hughes and Chris Bonner are both seniors. So by the time they graduate, hopefully Brett can come in and kind of just take over for, either one of them as the number 2 corner, and then Brock Eugene will be a senior by then. At free safety, Thomas Spicer will be starting. He's only a 68 overall, but especially based on what he did last year, I think he's kind of deserved the right to start. He came away with 3 interceptions and a forced fumble last year. And then for now, I'm going to be giving Anthony Ross the start at strong safety. It's kind of just a toss-up between him and Travis Kraft, who I don't think has gotten really any playing time. He does have a forced fumble and 9 tackles, but it's kind of just a toss-up between these two. Ross is a tad bit faster, but actually they're about the same in awareness. So they're very even, but I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to the younger player for now. Oh, and then, of course, kicker Jason McMillan. We got a walk-on punter, another Larry on the team. He's only a 56 overall, but that's not the most important position on the field. Hopefully, we won't be doing too much punting next year. Kick return, Curtis Brown. He did a great job at that last year. He's also going to be our punt return man. Well, it doesn't look like we're going to be changing conferences this season, so let's just take a quick look at our schedule. We're going to start off the season by hosting Delaware, then we're going to travel to UCF before hosting number 21 ranked Wisconsin, then traveling to New Mexico, and then we're going to start conference play by hosting NAU, then playing Weber State and Idaho State, our bye, Idaho, Eastern Washington, Portland State, Sacramento State, and of course wrapping up with the Brawl of the Wild. We are going to be redshirting a couple of guys this season, starting with Adam Weaver, one of the left guards we just got. Since Guy Gore is going to be starting on the offensive line, might as well, give him some time to develop. Like I said earlier, we're going to also be redshirting Brett Garrett at cornerback and let Tim Hughes and Chris Bonner play out their senior seasons, either as a cornerback number 2 or as the nickel corner. And then finally, we're also going to be redshirting one of the freshman free safeties that we acquired in the offseason. All right, this is something I found pretty interesting. It's the preseason Heisman watch, and look who's currently number 2. Yes, I know no games have been played yet, but Larry Stevens is currently number 2 for the Heisman, only behind last year's winner, Walter Ferguson, who threw 51 touchdowns last year. So the media is full on buying into the hype that the Bobcats present going into this year. All right, well, that is going to do it for the offseason. Let you know what you guys think of, the video, some of the guys I recruited, just the offseason as a whole. Hopefully, eventually, we'll get invited to a new conference just to kind of freshen up the competition a little bit. I guess that's not going to be this season, though. But yes, thank you all for watching the video. If you're not already subscribed, you should do that. That'd be pretty cool. And leaving a like on the video helps out as well. But until next time, this has been Jeffrey, reminding you to stay moist.